Right, troops, welcome back to Hanning's Rest. I've started doing the ballasting and I was going to do it all and then tell you how I did it. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I did it. Alright, now, I'm not the tidiest of modelers as you can tell. You know what I mean? But right, what do you need? You need ballast. I've got 3 different colours mixed in here. I've got a big bottle here that I've mixed the 3 colours in. Alright. So I've got a spoon for spreading it. I've also got a water, dish soap and PVA glue mixed in this. You also need IPA to break the surface tension. Alright, now I'll show you how I do this. It's pretty messy, but here we go. Right, we'll start here. What I do is I just sprinkle a little bit on. Some down that side. Some down this side. This isn't the easiest thing in the world to do with one hand, do you know not? Try to hold a phone and do this at the same time. Mother. Yeah, but there we go. Right. Now, the one other thing I did forget to mention was you need to go to your house makeup bag and steal our favourite makeup brush. Right, and then you just start spreading. Right down. Now be very careful of these point mechanisms because you don't want to get all the grit in there because it makes life a little more difficult when you try to move them and they're all gummed up with glue and bits of ballast and stuff. Right, so along here a wee bit more. Right, now after I've done that, I take my wee spoon and that knocks off some of the excess. Now, any small bits you see, you can touch up. Okay, a little bulgy bit in that. Right, now get your IPA. Oh, once you've discovered that you've uncovered all the bulgy bits again, you tap it and just salt on it. Right, now you get your IPA. Now this is 99% IPA rather than 75% because the 75% stuff does contain water. Now what you do is you apply your glue. Some people find this quite relaxing. I find it quite boring actually, but it's one of these jobs that's just got to be done. So put on as much glue as possible. Right, here we go. So put plenty on. Cover the whole area. As I say, you don't go right up to the mechanism on the points, because that way you'll just jam them up if you do. If you get right up. And trust me, they're a bugger to get to work again. Alright, so I'll go on with this and I'll get back to you in a bit, alright? Once you've got it all covered in watery glue, you can leave it to dry. Alright, so that'll be tomorrow. Right guys, next up I'm going to use this rail painter. Now this is rusty rail, and I'm going to show you how to use it in here. Now what you do is you test it on a bit of card to get the paint to start running. Right, so there you go, there's the paint running now. So I'll show you how I use this. And you just run along and it paints the side of your rail. It's not the best, it's not the easiest thing to use without making a mess, but it's quite effective when it's done. I find sometimes the easiest way to do it is just to put it in between them and push, and that gets your rusty rail effect. Alright, I've already ballasted this, but I should have painted it first, but nah, who cares. Right, I'll go and do the other side and do trips. Hey trips, as you can see, I've now ballasted this entire area. There are a few patches, but I have actually completely run out of ballast, so I might need to get some more to patch in some of these areas. Some of these bits I won't bother with, I'll just put grass and whatever in there to make it look a bit more overgrown, you know. I do need some earth up down here, up to this point here, because it's quite shallow there. Aye, that was 2 days work. Again, the ballast will come down to here, so I'll need a wee drop for there before I put the hard standing in for this diesel depot thing. But I'm quite pleased with how well that's turned out. You know, I just need to spray paint it all now and weather it to match or look similar to what's round here. And there's the roll of wire that I got from Amazon. There's 50 metres in that. Now it's just under £17 for that, as opposed to £22 for the ones at the back that took 3 weeks to arrive. So as soon as the other one of these, or the other pack of these arrived from Amazon, I'll be able to get these points all wired up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this one under here for the common feed for all the point motors, all the way up and down there. The other one I might put at the other side and where the rest of them are for the feed for the switches, because the switches will go on the control board and all the rest of these units are all in behind here. Alright, okay trips, I'll leave it at that this week. Next week hopefully we'll be wiring up some points. I'll wire up these first, these two, and I'll give you my opinions on these point motors. I've never tried these ones before, but they were really easy to install, so they should be. They says they're quite powerful, so they should be alright. Alright troops, I'll leave you with a couple of running shots of these things going round, and remember, like, share, subscribe, all that kind of rubbish. Comment even. Alright troops, bye now, bye.